Is there ever hope for reconciliation after domestic violence? This is a question I often hear from people who have harmed their partner. They wonder, what can they do to try to save their relationship? Interestingly enough, I also hear from many people who have been harmed by their partner's violence or abuse. They still love their partner and hope there's a future for the two of them as a couple. They want to give their relationship a chance, but they're worried about potentially putting themselves back in harm's way if their partner continues to be abusive. Their question is, how can they know if it's safe? Hi, I'm Michael Clark with the Ananias Foundation, and in this video we're going to talk about reconciliation after domestic violence or abuse from both parties' perspectives, considerations for the person who has caused harm and for the person who's been hurt. If you want to stop causing harm in your relationships, you're on the right path. This is Journey of Change, a video series to help you become the safe, loving partner you were meant to be. Let me begin by saying reconciliation after domestic violence is very difficult. It shouldn't be automatic. And I'd argue, it shouldn't even be the goal. Domestic violence or abuse is serious because it can injure one of the partners, not only physically, but also psychologically, by damaging their sense of well-being. Now, before I get a bunch of angry statements in the comments section, let me say this discussion, as it pertains to the person who's been harmed, is only intended for those who choose to stay and give their relationship another chance. Statistically, we know this is about half of you. If you decide to get out of the relationship, however, you're free to go. You are under no moral, ethical, or relationship obligation to give your partner another chance. For those considering remaining in the relationship, however, you should know that people exposed to abusive treatment are advised to set boundaries and not allow these practices to continue. That might mean separating yourself from the person who's causing harm. In the best case scenario, this act of tough love becomes a catalyst that motivates the hurtful partner to address their behavior and the issues causing it. Go slowly and be cautious. Look for evidence that they are indeed doing the work I'll describe later in this video, and that their effort is making a difference in how they respond in all kinds of situations. Now, some won't do the work, however. If the person causing harm is unwilling to change, reconciliation after domestic violence is not advised, and ending the relationship is a natural consequence. Look, staying and tolerating abuse is dangerous and it helps no one. Now, let me speak to the person who has hurt their partner through acts of violence or abuse. I want you to know that you are hurting not only your partner, but you're also hurting yourself by damaging your relationship with him or her. It doesn't make you a monster, but you do need to address the issue. Make a commitment to change. If you want any chance of getting back together with your partner, focus on changing your behavior by healing the issues causing it. Even if your partner decides later to end the relationship, the health of any of your future relationships depends on you effectively stopping your hurtful actions. One of the myths about domestic violence or abuse is that the person causing harm can't change. This simply isn't true. Countless individuals have worked to uncover the cause of their behavior and to change it. That's good news, and it offers hope. Change is possible. The bad news is that change is difficult, and it requires time, effort, and intentional focus. Not everyone sees their need to change or is willing to devote the time and energy to make it happen. Now, saying someone Can change is not the same as saying someone will change. A note here, using sheer willpower to try to not act out is unlikely to be successful. What do I mean by using willpower? It's telling ourselves, I'm not going to lose my temper, or I'm not going to lash out when I get upset. This is a strategy that is unlikely to be effective. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a while, but eventually you'll get tired or distracted, and the beach ball will come popping out, just like your bad behavior will come popping out. Identifying and healing the issues at the root of the problem is like letting the air out of the beach ball. There is no longer that same pressure. Permanent change comes when the core issues at the root of those violent or abusive actions are addressed. Promising to never do it again, even if you are sincere in your intentions, is not going to work. Your best chance of reconciliation after domestic violence requires committing to this process of uncovering the causes and practicing different thoughts and different responses. So, what are the core issues that cause domestic violence or abuse? Psychologists tell us that the things we say and do, especially during conflict or during times of stress, are driven by our emotions. And those emotions are created by our thoughts. Often, we're not even aware this is happening in our minds. Enduring change requires us to discover the thoughts and emotions behind those harmful actions. Bad behavior, the kind that hurts our partners and ourselves, is usually caused by distorted thoughts. We have an exaggerated sense that our circumstances are threatening. Then we unnecessarily overreact to protect ourselves. With better awareness of what's happening in our minds, we develop better emotional control. That frees us to respond to our partner in ways that will build trust and intimacy rather than just protect our own emotional wounds. Since this isn't something most of us are trained to do, it's wise to get help. Counselors that specialize in anger or violence are a great asset and worth the investment. If you can't afford counseling, find a pastor, mentor, or group that is focused on this issue. And it doesn't have to be an either-or choice. These guides are a great supplement to any work you do with a counselor. For the couples who stay together while one works on their transformation, at some point, you'll have to decide if the needed changes have happened. How do you and your partner know if any change has occurred and if it will last? Ultimately, there's no measurement or test that will give anyone a guarantee that a person's change is real and lasting. However, there are some telltale signs, evidence, if you will, to look for. Do you get upset less often than you did in the past when faced with stressful or conflict situations? Do you catch your reactions sooner than before? Do you generally have smaller and less damaging reactions? When upset, do you look at what's going on inside of yourself rather than blaming your partner? Do you have an attitude of continuous growth, especially when you slip into some of the bad behavior from the past? And I say when and not if, because no one ever becomes perfect. Can you and your partner now handle stressful situations and resolve conflict in a healthy way? In situations where you become upset, are you able to calm yourself down, think rationally, and disagree without violence, threats, or abuse? Now, answering no to some or several of these questions doesn't mean you won't change. It just means you need more time to practice and apply good change techniques. I think it's worth mentioning a few things that don't matter. First, apologies or expressions of regret. That doesn't mean you shouldn't apologize, and it doesn't mean your apology was insincere. But restoring a relationship will take more evidence of change than just saying that you're sorry. Second, promises to not do it again. Again, the intentions might be good, but unless you intended to be abusive before, and I'm guessing that you didn't, then change has to come from something deeper than just your intentions. Third, listing what programs or how many counseling appointments you've attended really doesn't matter that much. Attending domestic violence change programs or going to counseling are potentially good things, but showing up is not the same as doing the deep, hard work required for healing and change. Finally, I'd caution you away from any quick fix solutions. If it's quick, easy, and simple, it probably won't work, and it probably won't last. The decision to reconcile after domestic violence or abuse is a difficult one. Don't rush the process. Make the determination to reunite cautiously and based on observed evidence. Change takes time, and the cost of continued violence or abuse in your relationship is high for both the victim and the person who causes harm. Now, for the person who caused harm, I want to say that your partner might not see your changes like you do. They still may be too hurt, scared, or angry to see you objectively. Or they might not be willing to wait or risk being wrong. That's their right to do, even if it doesn't seem fair. Trying to force your partner to stay is the worst possible strategy. Our desire to desperately hold on to a relationship is really a desire to avoid the pain of losing that relationship. There's no good outcome if we try to pressure, guilt, coerce, or control someone into staying in a relationship with us. At best, we'll end up with a resentful partner that can't love us back in the way that we really want. At worst, we'll be controlling and abusive to someone we love by trying to make them stay. Even if your partner doesn't give you a chance, that doesn't mean the work you do is wasted. Making changes will benefit how you interact with others, including your children and other family members, your friends, your coworkers, and even strangers. It will also greatly increase your sense of peace and satisfaction with life. Losing the relationship might not be what you want, but it can fuel your motivation to make your life better. Finally, a note here for the victim. Your partner's never going to be perfect. I understand you may have experienced a significant trauma, and that can make you very sensitive to anything your partner does that resembles their past abuse. However, your part of the journey is similar to your partner's, to heal from your past trauma and not overprotect yourself to their now safe yet imperfect responses. If you don't or you can't, your relationship is unlikely to work. I'm Michael Clark with the Ananias Foundation, and I hope you found this discussion about reconciliation after domestic violence helpful. Take care, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks for joining me today. I'm honored to be on this journey of change with you, and I hope I've helped you in some way. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to hit the like button, share this with others who might find it helpful, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. For more resources, head to our website, ananiasfoundation.org. Until next time, take care and remember, change is possible.